COVID-19 vaccines.
Impeachment managers present new video evidence in the case against President Trump. I'm Paula Reed on Capitol Hill with reaction to the arguments.
And we meet a Baltimore man who used Zoom to create a trivia business from the ground up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
1 million coronavirus vaccine doses are on their way to pharmacies across the U.S., part of a new federal program to expand access. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Tapping our first 7 minutes. A new federal program to expand access to coronavirus vaccines begins shipping 1 million doses directly to pharmacies across the country today. The government wants to expand access to underserved communities by directly shipping to pharmacies like Walmart and Sam's Club. State health departments say the biggest problem right now is not having enough doses for mass vaccination sites. They're instead relying on small pharmacies to get to people in rural areas. AstraZeneca gets a vote of confidence for its coronavirus vaccine from the World Health Organization. A WHO panel now recommends the vaccine for adults over the age of 18. The organization previously also recommended the Pfizer-BioNTech shot. AstraZeneca says it plans to produce more than 100 million doses this month. It comes on the heels of its quarterly report card showing profit more than tripled to over $1 billion. Well, I think most of us are ready for Mother Nature to give us a shot of warm weather. Michael Hayslip joins us with the first look at the forecast.
Don't hold your breath. It's going to be a long time until it comes. It's going to be a long time until we even get to the freezing mark.
Man.
As a matter of fact, Tanya, just instituted here in the last several minutes. Let's take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. And when we get rid of the satellite coverage, everything stayed down to our southeast. But we can go ahead and put on what's known as the warning fill. And we're going to end up with wind chill advisories for pretty much all of southwest Missouri, and even moving as far west as Crawford and Cherokee County are going to be in there. That's because while we sit right now, you think it's cold right now, 17 at the Freeman Health System Sky Camera with a wind chill of 3. Our overnight lows are going to be about, wind chills about 10 below. Yeah. That's where we're going to end up. So as we cruise through our Thursday, best thing to do is to stay inside. And it's not only because of our freezing cold temperatures, but also too because we've been so cold, no really chance for the roads, especially our side streets, to improve too much. Our main thoroughfare is looking much better, whether it be 44, 49, 69, 400. Those are doing all right. And Friday, we're actually going to get a break from the precip as well. Probably not even see any flurries. But then Saturday, look at this. We're right back on it. And coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to take a little elongated look from Valentine's Day into President's Day, Sunday into Monday. Because while we see some pop up on the Saturday future track, the one moving in from the West Coast that begins tomorrow, be here Sunday evening, is going to be widespread.
Oh, okay. We'll be ready for it. Try to be at least.
Be ready for wind chill of 10 below tomorrow too.
Oh my goodness. That's no fun. All right, thanks, Michael. The impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump resumes today. House impeachment managers are expected to focus on the harm caused by the riots, the president's lack of remorse, and the legal issues that apply in this case. Paula Reed has more details from Capitol Hill.
House impeachment managers wrapped up arguments today trying to link former President Trump's words and actions to the deadly assault on the Capitol.
On January 6th, President Trump left everyone in this Capitol for dead.
Prosecuting the case Wednesday, they played never-before-seen security camera video showing Vice President Mike Pence being whisked away to safety and Capitol Police Officer Eugene Goodman saving Senator Mitt Romney from running into the mob.
And I was very fortunate indeed that Officer Goodman was there to get me in the right direction.
A video from an officer's body camera showed what happened as he was dragged and beaten.
It was gut-wrenching. The bravery of our police officers is incredible. It was compelling.
President Trump's fate in the impeachment trial lies in the hands of Senate Republicans. But so far, the House impeachment manager's arguments for conviction have gotten a mixed response.
The evidence that has been presented thus far is pretty damning.
While South Carolina's Lindsey Graham tweeted, "The not guilty vote is growing after today. I think most Republicans found the presentation by the House managers offensive and absurd." President Trump's attorneys accused House managers of pandering to emotions.
It's not only that they wanted plenty of video time today, it seems like they want a lot of screen time for themselves. They're clearly, playing to the cameras, to the public, all of the time.
The defense team is expected to begin arguments tomorrow. Paula Reed, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
17 Republican senators would need to vote with every Democratic senator in order to convict President Trump. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, a former event planner turns to online trivia after his main source of income dries up. And later, just in time for Valentine's Day, we're making chocolate mousse cups in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The economic downturn during the pandemic has cost almost a quarter of all hospitality workers their jobs. That's far worse than any other industry. But one jobless bar and restaurant consultant landed on his feet by remaking pub trivia for pandemic times. Adriana Diaz reports.
Morning, everyone.
Life online can put us all in a box.
Welcome to your date.
From first dates to court dates.
Probable cause.
But like a lot of us, Stephen Walsh hadn't even heard of Zoom until last March.
The restaurant industry is reeling.
When COVID crashed his Baltimore event business.
And my inbox was full of cancellations. I said to my wife, I was like, we're in trouble here.
Wow. You must have been panicked.
When you think you have a business and it's been going pretty well, and all of a sudden in a few days it's gone.
But the Ireland native's luck turned around. When else? St. Patrick's Day, when he took an old hobby and brought it online, hosting trivia on Zoom. 1,000 games later, he's reached players in 87 countries.
It's definitely the most I've earned in my life. It's turned into a career that I don't plan on moving back from.
Right. Regulars often play with friends in other places.
She wrote her most famous book, a classic of its genre, at age 20.
But his questions that make you think may be the biggest draw.
That was Mary Shelley.
Walsh trivia, it's hard.
After so much talk of trivia, I had to try it myself.
What is the country that is home to the most people with a name starting and ending with the same letter?
So I'm assuming it's a country that starts and ends with A, because a lot of countries end in A. Oh, Australia.
So this is where I trick you. Everybody puts Australia.
No!
Argentina. Argentina.
Walsh crafts questions he calls Google-proof.
One team just high-fived and kissed.
But instead of competing for cash, weekly champions pick a charity and pay it forward. Because of this, so far Walsh has raised more than $100,000, holding whole games to benefit autism and Alzheimer's research, Baltimore's Ready initiative for low-income college students, and Philadelphia's youth sentencing and reentry project. People come back not just for the questions, but for the co-hosts.
Correct answer, do you know?
Yeah.
2-year-old Jameson.
Number 1.
And now his baby sister, Katerina, born just 3 weeks ago.
My wife, she was like, will Stephen host a game from the hospital room? Check in soon and find out.
Turns out the hospital Wi-Fi wasn't strong enough.
She's giving you the evil eye back.
But Walsh also had his hands full with his greatest win yet. Adriana Diaz, CBS News.
How fun. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Valentine's Day means champagne, chocolate, and balloons. Wait until you see how we tie all these together.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
It all started on Sunday. That was when the below freezing temps began. It is still impressive when you consider the start that we had to February. Average high still about 41 degrees, but I tell you what, so if we are to isolate Sunday, ride this out throughout the 7-day forecast, we're going to see that February average high number drop about 10 degrees for the first 20 days of the month. Here's where we stand right now. We're talking about it being dangerously cold. We want to limit that exposure being outside anywhere from about 13 to 19 degrees. And when you factor in the northeast wind, and it hasn't been too blustery, it actually is going to increase tonight. But when you factor in that wind, whole bunch of single digits abound as far as wind chills go. Nevada and Stockton sitting right at 0. And we're actually going to drop through tonight into tomorrow morning when we talk about what it feels like. Get to that here in just a second. Split jet stream with the cold Canadian air whipping around, low pressure system right here. Gulf moisture creating a mess in the deep south, whether it be freezing rain and rain in Texas, and then thunderstorm activity extending to the east coast. And now we got another low pressure system developing on the west coast. It's going to play a role in our weather here at the end of the weekend, beginning of next week. Once again, where's the sunshine? I'm not going to say the cold's bearable. It does feel a little bit better if we could see some sun every now and then, but we're not going to anticipate any throughout the duration of Thursday. The nice thing is all the freezing rain that we had, it stayed through central Arkansas. Don't need to worry about the reemergence of it here for the next couple of days because we're seeing all the precipitation sag down to the southeast. We also, for the contiguous 48, got a nice little break here because at one point in time today, we had winter weather advisories from West Texas all the way to the mid-Atlantic. So you can tell those parts just simply turning into rain. But then down here, actually going to have some flooding concerns as it approaches the Gulf. You'll see a new color code for us here in the 4 states. You know, we had the purple indicating that winter weather advisory. Now, a little pale blue. That's because it's a wind chill advisory. Now, it technically doesn't go into effect until midnight, but why belabor the point? Let's start talking about it right now. A couple of key factors. Number 1, skin exposure. Anything longer than half an hour, that can cause damage. Number 2, pets. Number 3, pipes. Number 4, young livestock. Those 4 factors, when we start talking about wind chills that are going to drop down, feel about like 10 below, please keep all those factors in mind as we progress through Friday morning, because if you think it's cold right now, it's simply going to get colder. As we move through Thursday, and I mentioned that wind picking up anywhere from 20 to 25 mile an hour gusts, and that's why our morning temperatures are even going to be colder. Now, Friday we skirt through. I think Friday we even get a glimpse of sunshine every now and then. So let's go ahead and kick in Saturday because we do see some snow, especially in our far corners. Key factor of this, going to stay snow up to the north. Going to pay attention to what's down here because if this thing decides to push up a little bit to the northwest compared to where it is in northwest Arkansas right there, then we've got the combination of the freezing rain already on those slick roads that we've had from Monday through Wednesday. Saturday, done for the afternoon hours. Remember that low pressure system we talked about out on the west coast? Well, Saturday while this is going on, this is not the one we're looking at. That's the one we're looking at. And once this thing gets over the Rockies Saturday night, it takes off like a shot. And when it does, digs down through Oklahoma and Texas, kind of stalls out right there, then comes back up to the northeast. We're talking Sunday night and a Monday morning. And we're looking at widespread snow. Still too early to talk pure accumulation numbers. We got to let this thing actually make landfall on the west coast, see how much of a moisture it wants to gain on its way. But, you know, you throw those snow numbers in there at 40 and 60, you're being pretty serious about it.
All right, well, just be safe. Make sure you're bundled up. If you have to go for a drive, make sure you have things in your vehicle to protect you if something does happen.
At least half a tank of gas, emergency kits, extra blankets. Also, too, call your family and friends. Let them know when you depart and when you arrive.
Mm-hmm. You may think the roads are fine, but things could change, you know? All right. Thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Seaman First Class Chester Gavin in the U.S. Navy. The Joplin native served aboard the USS Washington battleship in the South Pacific. He fought from 1941 to 1945. To Chester Gavin, we thank you, our 4-state hero. One glimpse of today's treat and your Valentine will think you spent a bundle on ordering a gourmet dessert. Howard shows us how to make chocolate mousse cups in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
With Valentine's Day right around the corner, I hope you have a card and maybe a little something for that someone special. But just in case you forgot, we have an easy treat that says, I love you. It's a rich chocolate mousse that goes together like this. and wait until you see how we serve it. We combine some water, sugar, and instant coffee in a saucepan over high heat. When it comes to a boil, we pour it over some chocolate chips and stir them until they melt. While it cools slightly, we beat some heavy cream with a touch of vanilla just until stiff peaks form. Now we slowly fold the chocolate into the whipped cream until it's blended evenly. To take this over the top, after all, it's Valentine's Day. We're gonna serve it out of a homemade chocolate cup. To make them, all we do is melt some chocolate chips along with a bit of shortening. Once it's smooth, we dip the end of a balloon in it, give it a twist, and let it set. When we pop the balloon, we end up with chocolate cups that are perfect to fill with our to-die-for mousse. Does this look decadent or what? One glimpse of this and your Valentine will think you spent a bundle on them. The recipe for our chocolate mousse cups is online now, just in time for Valentine's Day, or really anytime you want something super special. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a doubly chocolate way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
The winning side is the inside side, as in stay inside. Wind chill advisory looking at -10 by the time we get to tomorrow. Dow?
I side with you on that argument for sure. Coming up at 5, the variant of COVID first found in the UK is spreading across the U.S. And Health Watch, why health officials in the U.S. are so concerned. Plus, new research from LinkedIn shows nearly half of black professionals have faced discrimination in the workplace. Why that's pushing many African Americans to leave their jobs. And how you can help out warming centers in the area. I hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up today on KOAM News at 5.
Thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.